What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. It is Thursday night. We're going to do some drafting, obviously. Going to focus on our exposures. We're going to talk about, as we go, we'll talk about some free agent stuff that's kicking off. Not necessarily free agent stuff, trade stuff, guys getting cut, things of that nature. So there's a lot going on, obviously. Let's jump right in realistically. Waiting on one to fill on a slow big board. That should be good. Souls are almost wrapped up. Let's jump into a big board. 81 bullets remaining. I'm going to get right in. We're not going to talk much. We'll talk as we go. Tons of room. If you want to draft, waiting on 10. So tons of room if you want to draft with me. And we'll be talking through, like I said, some of this free agent stuff, trade stuff, cuts, all that kind of stuff. So we're chatting, go back to episode 6, I believe. Steve, what's happening? Good evening, sir. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. We're talking on episode 6 is when I would look back to when we were originally first talking about it. I showed my spreadsheet on who I thought would get cut, traded potentially, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to go through it again until a little bit closer, until a few more kind of, pieces fall, essentially. The Aaron Rodgers situation happened. Devontae Adams, Lazard will happen. Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, all things that we talked about in that week 6 episode. So you can go back and take a look at that if you wish. It's already obviously happened, but if you're watching the show at the time, you might have been ahead of the game. I was saying probably not the greatest idea to be stacking Trevor Lawrence with either Evan Ingram or Christian Kirk. And here we are. So going back and forth with someone on Twitter literally yesterday about that one. Not a great day to be that guy, unfortunately. Basically telling me that Evan Ingram would be on the Jags. Doesn't make sense for him to not be on the Jags, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, not the greatest day, if I'm being honest. Literally happens the next day. So that's unfortunate, but that's all right. I mean, you look through the contracts, the writing was on the wall. It made sense. New regime comes in, new GM, new head coach, all of it made sense for both Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk to potentially not be on this team. I thought it was more like a 60-40 for Christian Kirk, 60 to not be on the team, 40% to be on the team. And then I was saying 100% for Evan Ingram. So it took a little, I didn't expect Christian Kirk to be the first marble to fall in that one, but it did. Cool. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I never claimed to be right about everything. That's for sure. But I definitely feel like I'm more right. I'm right more often than I'm wrong is what I claim for myself. So I think I was more right on that one. Obviously, it happened. So, a couple hellos. Fantasy Football Garage in the draft. I see we got Candyman at the 10 pick, and then Farachi. What's happening at the 9 spot? You guys can snipe away at each other. I'm going to hang out near the top of the draft and hopefully not get sniped, but we'll see. Appreciate you guys coming in. Hit that like button, everybody, if you don't mind. In the 5 spot, we'll see where we end up doing here. I got an idea for something I might want to do, but and I haven't done yet, so I definitely want to get a little bit of exposure to this strategy, and I probably will go down that road, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Devontae Adams is a free agent. We know that. That was another thing we talked about in episode 6. Alan Lazard, yeah, to seek a trade, great. That's no one's going to give the Jets anything for Alan Lazard, so he'll be cut as well. And then we'll see what happens at the quarterback position there. What else do we think is going to drop? I don't know. Went back and looked at the pro days, the ones we got to keep an eye out for, at least the ones that I'm going to be keeping an eye out for. Unless Saquon's there, which actually would still kind of work out. Maybe I go Saquon at 5, and that still makes sense. So let's do that. That's the only spot I've taken Saquon so far is at the 5 pick. So if he falls, I'll take him, and the strategy still works out. But the pro days. So the only pro days I'm really interested, they're all in the Big 12, and they're all in the same week. They haven't said the days. Basically, it's a range, March 18th to 21st, and we have Arizona for Tet McMillan, Arizona State for Cam Scatabo, and TCU for Jack Besh. Those three are all within that range. So, I mean, I hope we get some clarity on whether Tet McMillan will run or not. I'm wondering if he'll even run. Same with Cam Scatabo. You know, they might just both do the Braylon Allen thing and just bank on their tape, how far they took their teams, that sort of stuff. And you know, the overall buzz, because a lot of people have Tet McMillan as their wide receiver 1. So he might just sit back, bank on that, and you know, get drafted in the middle of the first round. Cam Scatabo, definitely not a first round pick, but could be, I don't know, between third or fourth round. Maybe he's just banking on his third round draft capital sort of thing. But I'd like to see, obviously, both of them run, as well as Jack Besh. So we'll see. Those are the dates that I have circled on my calendar as far as pro days are concerned, just to see what they run in the 40, just to see if it makes sense, if it adds up what I saw on tape. But we'll kind of take it from there. Brian Thomas gets pulled up, which doesn't make a lot of sense at all. I don't think, like, obviously that's on the back of the Christian Kirk news and Evan Ingram news, but I don't think that should change Brian Thomas's value or ADP at all, in my opinion. Malik Neighbors ahead of Puka. Like, I really can't get behind Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors ahead of Puka and CeeDee Lamb. So Farachi's just laughing at pick 9 to get CeeDee Lamb. Easy click there, I'd imagine. Brock Bowers and Ladd brings up those two. I don't mind that strategy. Nothing wrong with that. Get a little different at the end. At the 1-2 turn, if you're the 12 pick, it's nice to get a little different. I think that's a very quality way to go about things. Pick a few guys, not necessarily just 2, but call it 4 different second round players, and kind of take turns pulling them up. I don't mind doing that. Mix it in with, Amon-Ra or Nico or Neighbors or something if they fall to 12, and then mix it in with, ADP 19. Jonathan Taylor is a perfect example. Pull him up. Maybe Tyreek, if you like him, pull him up. Ladd McConkey, that sort of thing. Just get a little bit different. And I don't mind that strategy whatsoever. So, yeah. Different combo, absolutely. Putt Daddy, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Appreciate you as always coming out. Who's following me here? What are we doing? So, wow, Derrick Henry's falling. Okay, good. He goes. I wanted Derrick Henry to go. The click should be Jonathan Taylor here. And it's going to be, I'm just going to do it. I was going to do something else, but that's all right. Let's go JT. That's the click there. If I can get him at pick 20, I'm going to take him every single time. And I don't have him paired up with Saquon Barkley yet at all. So we'll start pretty robust. A little RB start. Don't mind that. And we talked about it last week too, or last episode, a couple days ago. Feels like it's been a little while since I streamed. It's only been 2 days, but feels like it's been a little longer for some reason. But we talked about it on the last episode there. It's not the worst idea to go 3 of your first 4 picks, at least mix it into your portfolio. It depends on how many drafts you're doing. I'm maxing the tournament, so I want a bunch of different start, different combinations. So yeah, go 3 of your first 4 picks at running back. If someone falls, we'll see. So someone like Bucky is there for me at 29. I might just go ahead and click him. We'll see how it kind of shakes out, but we'll take it from there. Brian Thomas, yeah, I don't think that makes any sense. Brian Thomas bump at 6, I'm guessing because of Kirk trade. A little high for me, I agree. Kirk trade and then Evan Ingram being released. So again, go back to episode 6. we talked about that. Both of those players potentially not being on the Jags. I was way more confident in Evan Ingram not being on the Jaguars, but we did talk about Christian Kirk as well. The other guy would have been Breece Hall if it made sense to go with a third running back. Obviously, I don't think it makes sense to pick a running back here. That's for sure. So we'll see who falls to us. Tyreek, I mean, how do you not? I'll take third round value, pick 29 Tyreek at this point. Don't have him paired up with JT at all. That's interesting. But yeah, that's a pretty easy click at pick 29. Should make me quite unique getting Barkley at 5 and then Tyreek at 29. Throw in Jonathan Taylor in the middle. That's a pretty nice start, I think. I think that's got to be unique for me. So I like that one. Do you think Kirk and Houston is an upgrade, downgrade, or about even? I think it's definitely an upgrade about, from everything else they have there. It tells you a lot about how they feel about John Mechie, unfortunately. Like John Mechie, I don't think anybody should have been clicking him at all. He got his opportunity, didn't take advantage of it, and it is what it is. So obviously Xavier Hutchinson isn't it either. Diggs could still come back, even though, to be honest, I think the rest of Diggs' career might be as more of a slot receiver. He's not the biggest guy in the world, and he's going to lose a step, no question. Just had an ACL. He's 31, 32 years old. He's going to lose a step. Get him in the slot, let him do his thing in space, and that's where, Christian Kirk coming in is going to hurt that, but they still might bring in, I think they want to, and it's very possible that Stephon Diggs comes back. I think this is essentially like a placeholder for Tank Dell, and a lot of people are talking about that too, so I definitely agree with that sentiment. Tank Dell's probably, as far as I know, he just had surgery the other day, like literally a couple days ago. And as far as I know, there's still one more surgery incoming. So I don't think he's had his ACL cleaned up. So he still has another surgery incoming. And then all the rehab. So I don't think he plays this year. And if he does, which I highly doubt, it'll be maybe in the playoffs or week 17 or something like that. But at that point, why? So in my opinion, it's kind of just a placeholder for Tank Dell. It's only 1 year left on the deal. That's why it was only a 7th round compensation, right? So, I mean, I think it's an upgrade from everything else they have in Houston. I think they could still bring back Diggs and they could still draft a wide receiver. I think all of those things are on the table. I think that takes Emeka Egbuka a little off the table. I don't think they'll be wanting to spend a 1st round pick on wide receiver anymore. I don't think. I think they have other needs that they need to address. They're a little more important, probably the offensive line, or the defensive line. Actually, defensive line might be a bigger need. We can look at the needs. I have, my spreadsheet for that if you like. But yeah, I think it's definitely an upgrade for sure. I mean, I saw a draft earlier today. I think I was watching the Shoops on the Fanspeak Network, watching them do a little show. Shout out to them. Appreciate them shouting me out. So that's always nice. Let's go with a little Rome Odunze action. Let's bring him in. I haven't drafted him in a little bit, and I want to be at least about 25%. Either way, I saw Christian Kirk getting pushed up the board. So if that's what's going to happen, like Brian Thomas and Christian Kirk are getting pushed up the board, I will be out on both of them. I don't think it makes any sense. I mean, I haven't drafted Christian Kirk much at all. So going back to what I thought was going to happen, Evan Ingram, I haven't drafted once. I think his ADP is too high for me, way too high for me. Considering I was very confident personally that he was not going to be on this team. So give me Jake Ferguson, Kyle Pitts, even if Pitts is not on Atlanta, but I do think he will be. Even Cade Otton, right? Freiermuth, I think, Cole Kmet. All these guys are potentially better clicks than Evan Ingram. It's not knowing where he's going to be. And I was under the assumption that he wouldn't be there. That's what happened, worked out. So I don't think anything should happen. I think he should plummet realistically, and I think he will. But then Christian Kirk as well, 2% in this tournament, which is probably 1 click, 3% overall. So I probably drafted him like 2 or 3 times total. And if his price tag goes up, I'll be completely out on that. That just does not make any sense in the world to me to pay a higher price tag for Christian Kirk because he goes to Houston. I would draft him for sure, knowing that he's on Houston and stacking him up, all that kind of stuff. But I don't think it should really do much for his value. I really don't. But where are we at? This is my least favorite range in this draft by a lot. I'm going to bring up Kenny Walker here. I don't have him mixed up with these players. So let's bring him up. There's no one really in this range that I feel like I have to click. George Kittle is all right. That's typically my click, or potentially Burrow. If he falls a little bit, I'll take him in this range. But I kind of want to build something out where I'm strong running back. This is going to look really good. And then Tyreek Odunze, I'm happy with that. So I actually kind of like the way that this is going, and it should be unique, which will be nice. So yeah, we'll see what happens on that one. We're about to see a bunch of dominoes fall. This week, what are we, Thursday? This weekend, potentially, I think we're going to see a lot of dominoes tip over. We're going to see deadlines are coming up. What are we? March 6th. The earliest deadlines, I think, are like March 10th, March 12th, March 14th, 16th. Those are the roster bonus deadlines. Those are the deadlines for paying these guys. So those are the dates that we're going to see guys either get cut, traded, mostly released. I don't know if there's too many more dominoes to fall as far as trades are concerned, unless it's Kirk Cousins. But it sounds like Kirk Cousins doesn't want to get Michael Penix again, is this whole like narrative getting thrown around. But he might not have a choice, realistically. It's not up to Kirk Cousins. If the Falcons, or unless he has a no trade clause, which let me take a look. I'm going to take a look if Kirk Cousins has a no trade clause. It does include a no trade clause. Cousins would have to waive. Interesting. Okay. So I don't know what happens there. Again, how can you control that? How can you control that? They have to trade him before the roster bonus kicks in, which is right around free agency, which is in the next week, right? The draft is obviously not till the end of April, so over a month away. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But how many RBs do you think you might take? 5 or 6? Probably 5. I would like to keep it at 5. Depends on what I do. If I take another one in the next, 5 rounds or so, then I'll stop at 5. If I don't take another one until round 16, then I might end up with 6. It'll depend on how the rest of the draft goes and how it falls. But I would like to, considering I have no quarterback and I have no tight end, I would rather stop at least 5. Yeah, I'd really like to stop at 5 and give myself at least 3 quarterbacks and at least 3 tight ends. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If I had, a quarterback and or a tight end at this point, but I would obviously be pissing yellow. I'd have to have at least like 9 or 10 wide receivers minimum. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't like to commit to anything until, it's like there. Like sometimes some drafts you obviously have to commit early, and it's like, this is going to be a 3-6-8-3. This is going to be a 2-5-9-3-4, whatever that is. You know what I mean? You kind of box yourself in. I think I'm still pretty wide open. This gives me a lot of flexibility, obviously, at running back. And then just depends on ranges and where we are in the draft. Like there's certain ranges where wide receivers just garbage, which is after this range of wide receivers, right? And then it just completely falls off a cliff for like 2 whole rounds. So I might have to take 2 more running backs and a tight end and a quarter, and you know what I mean, in that range. And then we'll just see. So yeah, I'm not going to commit to quite anything just yet, but we'll see. Whew, big time sneeze out of nowhere. I would have taken Burrow there for sure. That's an easy click. Do I take Laporta, try to catch up? Do I bring in another running back? Let's bring in Juwan Jennings. I don't have enough. 8% isn't quite enough for me. So let's bring in Juwan Jennings. Definitely need more wide receiver help, obviously. If Montgomery's there at 77, I'll take him. If Laporta's there at 77, I'll take him. I highly doubt they will be. So not particularly concerned about that. I'm not a big Tracy guy. My thoughts for Tyrone Tracy. Number one, I'm not taking him at that price. I'm not taking him at this cost. I've drafted him one time, and I think that was pick 70, which was behind his ADP at the time. He's obviously fallen since then. So now I'm kind of even kicking myself for clicking him once at pick 70. But I'm thinking Najee Harris might be a giant. That's my thought. Played with Brian Daboll at Alabama when Brian Daboll was the OC there. One season, had a great year. Makes sense. Especially if this is true. If Rodgers is a giant, then I think Najee could do really well in that offense. And it makes sense. He's a good complement to Tyrone Tracy. I think that would be a solid tandem, right? Solid backfield. But yeah, we'll see. That just makes sense to me. But it all depends. We talked about it last episode too. Like, what's the market for Najee? I really think, and Rico Dowdle. Like, what's the market for Rico Dowdle and Najee Harris? I think they might box themselves out of some decent situations. Like looking at it on paper. We talked about this last episode too. Like, what does that do to Malik Neighbors' value, right? But we're talking about the running back, free agent class. What is their market? So let's make our pick here. I am going to bring in no, we're doing Jaden Reed. I just can't bring up Ayuk. I was going to say Ayuk, but can't bring up Ayuk. I just can't. If he falls past ADP and it makes sense, I'll take him, which I have one time. And this, 74 was after ADP. Obviously, he's fallen again. Another guy who's fallen. I just can't do it. But yeah, what happens to what's their market? So here's what I think could happen with both Najee and Dowdle, especially Dowdle. So let's say within the in the first 2 days in the tampering period, March 10th to March 12th, the league officially starts. None of these things that we hear on March 10th are official until March 12th, right? It's the legal tampering period. The new league year starts March 12th. So essentially what I think will happen is, like, March 10th, someone will come to Rico Dowdle and say, hey, here's $4 million. Here's $4 million a year for 2 seasons. Decent for what he's, I think, going to get. Or even let's say 6. Let's say 6. That's what we'll say. Let's say they go 6 years for 2 seasons. Here you go, Rico. This is what we got for you. And he's going to say, no, look at, Barkley's money. I was 1,000-yard rusher last year, blah, blah, blah. feeling out the market, whatever, right? Then that team says, okay, cool. Goes and spends the money elsewhere, right? Fixes their defense, fixes their offensive line, gets a different running back, whatever. And then that deal's no longer on the table. Next team comes along and says, hey, Rico, I got 4.5 for you. And he's going to end up having to take a deal like that. Like Rico Dowdle's agent is going to be looking at DeAndre Swift's deal, I think. That's the deal that makes the most sense to go apples to apples with a player like Rico Dowdle. I think that's the closest you can get. And that was what, $8 million a year? But I don't know if teams are going to be willing to spend that. And I think that's what Najee Harris is going to end up. That's going to be happening to Najee as well. He's going to go out there looking for 12, 14 million, something like that. And there's just not going to be a market for him at that dollar value. And then he's going to have to end up taking 8, 9 million, maybe for 2 years, 3 years, maybe something like that. That's how I feel about this free agent running back market. That's kind of what I think is going to happen. These guys are going to box themselves out and, be pushing for more money, which, yeah, they should, but there's just no market for them with this, running back class, incoming running back class, right? That's just kind of how I feel. That's what I see. That's what I think might end up happening. And they'll kind of not necessarily leave money on the table, but not be able to get the money that they're after because there's not 2 teams fighting for them for the dollar amount that they want to get paid. That's how I see it. I could be wrong, but either way, I think Najee Harris could end up on the Giants. That's my kind of prediction, I suppose. Let's bring up Caleb Williams. I'd prefer to not take him over Bo Nix, but realistically, they're not that different at all. Obviously, the offensive line is much improved for the Giants, or for the Bears, I should say, with Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson coming in. Their bookend tackles, I think, are in a good spot. They might need a center, but hopefully they could find that either in free agency or in the draft. You definitely got to like the Jonah Jackson played with Ben Johnson. Obviously, he was a Pro Bowler in that offense for the Lions. So very good landing spot for everybody involved. So that should just solidify. If you liked Caleb Williams before, which I definitely did, then that should solidify how much you like him. Quarterbacks are really falling, especially obviously Bo Nix. That's ridiculous value. Wow, both Detroit running backs and the quarterback. Interesting build. Not sure that's the way I would go about that, but yeah, it's one of the best offenses in the NFL. So, man, I really want to click Bo Nix here, but it just doesn't make sense for what I'm building. Thank you. Happy Bo Nix just went. We're going to bring up Jordan Love. Jordan Love is the Green Bay offense, and Jordan Love is one of my favorite clicks as well. I think he's my most owned quarterback, which I'm happy with. I'd like to get Caleb Williams up there with Jordan Love, and I'm happy to do this NFC North stack thing. And we moved away from the running backs, so yeah, who knows how we'll end up. But there's a cliff that has basically happened at wide receiver right now, so I might have to bring in a 4th running back, which is fine. So it's going to be interesting what happens to this rookie class over the next month of drafting. Speaking of which, if you see the ticker down there, subscriber count, 442 of our 500 subscriber goal. If we get to 500 subs before the NFL draft, we'll rip a 12-hour straight live stream. Should be fun. Should be a lot of guests. And I'd like to get there before these tournaments fill up because yeah, then we'll have nothing to do, or we'll have to push it to the big board season or the Best Ball Mania season. So fingers crossed. If you like the content, if you're new to the channel, you like the content, hit that subscriber button, hit that like button, hit the notification bell. We go live pretty much every other day now. So we were just live on Sunday. No, sorry, Tuesday, Sunday, Tuesday, now Thursday. And then we'll probably go live this weekend, although I'm going to play some poker tournaments. So might be a later evening on the weekends. We usually do during the day, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, so hit that sub button, share with your friends. Appreciate everybody that pops in. Appreciate everyone in the chat, all the regulars. And we'll get there. We will get there. Does the Hendrickson news seal the deal for Higgins getting paid in Cincy? I still don't know about that. They're playing hardball, sounds like, even with Chase. I think I just really wish I wasn't a fan of such a cheap ass, discount city team. Just pay them what they're worth, please. Would be nice. I don't necessarily think that T. Higgins is worth, what he's asking. I really don't. Everyone that watches this channel knows I'm not the most massive T. Higgins fan in the world. And I will absolutely take Pacheco at pick 116 down to 29%. I was in the 40s not that long ago, all from taking him at pick 100 or higher. So let's get him. Yes, they draft someone, but Pacheco is going to be on this team. He is going to be on this team, and he has experience. He knows the offense. I'll be your Huckleberry at 116. I don't know if it seals the deal. I just, I don't think that T. Higgins necessarily is worth, he's definitely not worth 30 to me. He's not worth 30. Like, the tag is already 26. I've said before, I'm fine with that. I'm good if they sign him long-term at 26. Even 27, like I've said multiple times, even at 27, let's get it done. Let's just get it done. Get him on the field, make everybody happy. Sure, cool. If it's 28 or more, that's where it starts to get a little touchy for me. And I haven't changed my tune on this for, I don't know, a year. Literally, I think that 28, 29, 30 is too much. I'm out at 30. 28, 29 is, if it's structured nicely, then maybe I could be on board. I don't think they're offering him that. Maybe they are, but I really don't think they are. This is just such a terrible wide receiver spot. We'll continue that in a second after we make our pick. I pretty much can definitely stop at 5 running backs, though. I would have taken Cam Scatterbo, even though he's not particularly the click right there. Wow. I'm going to bring in Trevor Lawrence here. I need a little more exposure. Now that I'm happy with what he has going on, we're going to bring it back later, but done at 3 quarterbacks, obviously. I like that kind of a quarterback room. I'm happy with that. I'm done there. If I get one more quality running back, I'll be done at running back. And then I can just hammer wide receiver. Tight ends, I'll have at least 3, but I'll check that in a second for Hachi. But yeah, so I don't know. And then it's the Jamar Chase deal, right? You have to pay him more than Justin Jefferson. You have to. That's how it goes. That's how it is. And to be honest, he's worth a little bit more. He's worth $1 million more. Maybe 2 tops. 1.5, 1 to 2, whatever. Call it what you want. And if Chase is asking for much more than that, that's ridiculous. You know the market. We know the market. That's what, but if the Bengals are the one balking at it, then that's just pissing me off again. And I'm upset to be a fan of such a discount franchise. Jeez, just sneezing away over here. So pay him what he's worth. If the holdup is on the Bengals side, then that just pisses me off. Pay him $1 million or $1.5 million more than the Jefferson deal, structure it basically the same way, and get it done. T. Higgins, give him $28 million, wrap it up. If they want to get him done, that's what it's going to cost. If they truly want to get him done and they want him on the team, like they keep saying they do, that's what it costs. So in an open market, he'll get over 30. I'm not paying him over 30, but someone will. So I mean, it is what it is. And if they actually want to do these things, then that's what it's going to cost. And if the holdup is on the player side, okay, I'm fine with that because that's bullshit. If the holdup is on the Bengals side, then I'm pissed off at that, and that's bullshit. So I don't know. I don't think it seals the deal. I've been saying this is far from over. Even the tag situation is far from over. He's got to come in and sign that thing. And if it gets down to it, I don't want him to play on the tag. I really don't at all. Because what is he going to do? He's going to walk in, sign the tag. That money is guaranteed in his pocket, no questions asked. And then he can do whatever the hell he wants. Like, if we thought he sat out more games than he maybe should have last year, which I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how hurt he is here. But fairness to him, he's not going to take too many chances without the long-term contract. So he's got to play just well enough to get that huge deal, which is kind of what I feel is exactly what he did last season and potentially the year before. Like do I think that this is his ceiling? No, but he's shown us that it is. So I don't think it is. I think his ceiling would be just over 1,000 yards, 1,200 yards max if he's the number one on someone's team and double-digit touchdowns, right? That's what I think his ceiling would be. That's what I think he probably deserves to be paid at. But I just don't think he's going to put it all together for us. So he goes in, he signs the contract, the money's guaranteed, they can do whatever he wants, and then they cannot tag him again. He just says, fuck you guys, I'm not negotiating with you. I have no interest in being on this team. You've dicked me around for 2 years. I'm not playing for you guys again. And, good luck getting me to try hard, essentially. Like, I don't know. It's a weird situation, and I truly think it's far from over. I really do. I'm going to bring in Likely. It's sounding more and more likely that Mark Andrews might not be on this team. And if that does happen, then Likely should have a bunch more value. Let's take a look at the Dak pull up here. I'm sure the Thomas drafter is not very pleased with me for taking Trevor Lawrence one pick before, so should have left me Joe Burrow, man. No, I'm kidding. That's kind of rude of me to do, but I have a plan and I want more Trevor Lawrence. So sorry, it's at the expense of your stack, but it is what it is. What was I babbling about? The Dak. Where are we? 122. Oh, 112. I mean, you had to take him there. Farachi, that you had to take him at 112. It'd be pretty hard to get him to fall to 129. Dak's ADP is going up, not down. He's rising, he's not falling, right? It would have been sweet. But you had to pull him up a little bit. That's only like 8 picks too. What do you have at running back? Oh yeah. Who's he have? Because there he goes, Jake Ferguson. I was gonna say you can always backstack Dak, right? So that's a risky one. That is a risky one. But that's all right. It's nice to have just unstacked CeeDee Lamb. It's not a bad thing to have him there. We're bringing up Bashal Tutin. That's an easy click for me. Trying to get back to where I should have been. Very butthurt about not having 1,000,000% Bashal Tutin in the 20th round, but that's fair. Quarterbacks were falling. But that's always how it goes. Like if quarterbacks are falling early, then there's going to be a run, which is exactly what happened, right? Like quarterbacks are falling. You know, Baker, Patrick Mahomes falls, right? And then boom, little mini run. Bo Nix in the, what is this, 8 picks, 10 picks, 5 quarterbacks and 10 picks, right? And then whatever. And then boom, another little run right there. Another 4 quarterbacks and 8 picks, whatever it is. That's usually how it goes. Is like it's wide open. They're pushing. And then there's huge runs because everybody pushed, everybody fell behind, right? So, but you're not wrong. It was definitely looking like quarterbacks were falling in this draft. So, let's we might do another draft. Let's set a goal. We got to do a light goal to get a second draft tonight. We got 12 watching, bunch watching on Twitter machine. I'm sure if you're not watching on Twitter machine, jump over to the YouTube algo, hit the like button. We'll rip another draft if we get to 20 likes. And I like it myself every time too. So really we only need 19 likes and we'll rip a second draft tonight. We're at 10. So 10 more likes and we'll rip another draft. And then if you're new to the channel, check the ticker, hit the subscribe button if you like the content. And we got a live stream coming. Backup plans on backup plans. Always got to have a backup plan. I'm just glad I finally landed a Nico Stroud stack. It's like 50-50 for me. Stroud seems to go unstacked a decent amount in round 11. Definitely. Because that's another guy you can backstack with Schultz, you know, and just a bunch of rookies and just hope that you get that double stack. Felty as well a little bit. I'm sure Schultz is on your menu. Don't worry, I will not be picking Schultz. Doesn't make sense at all for my team. If that is what you want to do, I won't be sniping you on that. I should probably be done at running back. Yeah, I probably should be done there. Not necessarily 100% kind of a situation, but I probably should be done. Jerome Ford, kind of underrated. We'll see. But yeah, I was saying earlier, the rookies, it'll be interesting to see what happens with these rookies over the next month when there's no news. There's nothing that should move ADPs. I guess like you can look at visits. Like if there's a ton of attention to some of these guys, if they're getting like 8, 10, 12, you know, top 30 visits, that's some juice, you know, should be. So that's definitely worth looking at, worth talking about. But I haven't dug into that yet, if I'm being honest with you. Let's go Dontavian Wicks for the double stack Green Bay. Let's get that rolling. These are kind of the two I'm drafting with obviously Tucker Kraft that I'm drafting for Green Bay. I'm out on Romeo Doubs. I'm obviously out on Christian Watson. So it's these two and Tucker Kraft, even though Dontavian Wicks was thrown out in a trade idea sort of thing with for DK Metcalf, who's now asking for a trade. That's something we need to talk about is the DK Metcalf situation. Like, what is going on? They're not shopping him. He's part of the team. There's coach speak everywhere about how much they love DK. You know, we need to feed him the ball. We need to get him more involved. We need to do this and that, right? There's all of this talk. And then he's not being traded, you know, a third and one of Dobbs or Wicks for DK coming from the Packers. And then, okay, he's not being traded. We're not trading him. Then all of a sudden, DK comes in, says, I want to be traded. Now he's demanding a trade. So it's just like, what are we doing? Like, what is going on over there? It's really, really confusing if I'm being honest. Like, I wouldn't be trading DK if I were them. But they're gonna need a better quarterback situation, I'm sure, for DK to be happy about that kind of about staying in Seattle. This is the last year on his contract. I'm assuming that that's what's going on, is there's contract talks and they're not going exactly well. And, he's not getting the money that he thinks he deserves. But will he from someone else? I don't really know. Let's go Cole Kmet, double stack our Caleb Williams. Like, I just don't know. I just don't know what the hell is going on there. That's the only thing I can think of, is he thinks he's worth more than he is. Realistically, a deal. I think that there's a bunch of deals waiting for the T. Higgins, domino to fall, where that deal would make tons of sense for DK Metcalf, at least very, very similar. I don't know. It's really, really weird. It's a really weird situation where it goes from being traded, not being traded, being traded, not being traded, and then demanding a trade. It's really, really strange. I think they need to get it figured out. I don't necessarily know what they can do. Gino doesn't sound like he's happy either. He wants a longer deal, wants a bit of a raise maybe, but he definitely wants, more security after this season, which is fair. I can understand, but I can also understand the Seahawks not wanting to give that to him. So it's a really tough spot in Seattle, actually. I don't really know what they do. Like, I don't know. If it's me and I'm calling the shots in Seattle and the Raiders genuinely want Geno Smith in a trade, we talked about it in episode 6 again. Go back to episode 6, look through the contract stuff. I can pull up the spreadsheet if you want right now. If you guys want to see it, we can go through it now, but he's definitely a trade option, Geno Smith. So if the Raiders genuinely want Geno and they're going to make him their starting quarterback, stopgap, sort of a starting quarterback, and then draft, call it Shedeur Sanders at 6 overall, which is not the worst plan in the world. But then he's going to want, the security from the Raiders. So what do we do there? But regardless, that wouldn't be Seattle's problem. They get Geno's contract off the books and bring in like Sam Darnold. Bring in Sam Darnold, younger, arguably the same type of a player, can get the job done in that offense. I would like him in that offense, actually. And then get younger, give him a little bit of security, give him a 3-year deal that you can get out of after 2, right? That's what I would do if the Raiders are genuinely serious about wanting Geno Smith. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where that lands. It's such a weird situation how that has just unfolded. It's really, really weird. Really weird. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yeah. Green Bean, what's happening? Welcome to the chat. I agree, man. If the Raiders are serious, I think they should make that move. I 100% agree, and let that contract situation be the Raiders' problem, right? And then just go ahead and go after, in this, probably Sam Darnold. Makes a lot of sense. Even Aaron Rodgers might make some sense in that offense. Let's bring in Jalen Noel. Definitely need to keep upping my exposure there. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. That's what I think makes the most sense. Move on from Geno, bring in Sam Darnold. There's other guys that they could bring in too. Like, there's still the Justin Fields of the world, if he wants to get away from Pittsburgh. There's the Trey Lances, the Mac Joneses, not that they're, an upgrade or anything like that, but honestly, Mac Jones, relatively comparable to Geno Smith, if you ask me, especially in a Kubiak type of run first offense. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm completely out to lunch, but I really don't think I am. But that's what I do. I agree. I agree. If Seattle can get out of Geno and let the Raiders deal with his contract talks, and that honestly might make the most sense anyways. The Raiders bring in Geno, they draft Shedeur Sanders, and there you go. They're settled. They just say, hey, Geno, we'll give you, a little bit of a bonus this year to be our, heir apparent sort of thing, or not heir apparent, our placeholder essentially. A little bit more money, a little bit more security next year, right? And then Shedeur Sanders is that guy. Maybe he takes 2 seasons, which I don't think is out of the question at all. I really don't. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the whole Seattle situation. It's a weird one. It's really a real weird, strange one to me. Just how it's all kind of gone down. I am going to bring in. You can say it's early to do this, but I'm going to bring in Brenton Strange here. He should definitely rise at least to right here ahead of Harold Fannin, really. So I'm okay with that. I want to lock it in with Trevor Lawrence. I really want to lock that in. So I don't care. I don't care if I'm bringing it up in the 17th round. Call that a reach if you want. It's not. Trust me, it's not. Yeah, let's just lock it in, get our guys. I'm going to finish out this draft by getting the guys that I need and want. Terrence Ferguson goes a little earlier than I think you should, but y'all know how big of a fan I am of Terrence Ferguson. A little early. Once you're in the 14th round, like I said last week, even get your guys, bring them up 2 rounds. Really, bring them up, get them where you need them. Just take them. Don't apologize for shit. Get your guys, do your thing, build your stacks, make it happen. We'll rip another draft if we get 20 likes. Where are we at? 15 people watching. We're at 12 likes. 8 more, we'll do another draft. If not, we're going to call it a night. Ben Haskell, what's happening? Who Hames? I'm sure you guys are popping over. Tyler wrapping up, I'd imagine. I know the Fanspeak Network, the Shoops, the siblings, they were rocking and rolling earlier. And then PPR Tyler, maybe Best Ball guys going after me. You could call it a saturated space and you wouldn't be wrong. But appreciate you guys coming out. I think it's a good move. I've seen others do it too. Yeah, just do since the combine. I mean, anyone that watches the show, you know that after the combine, all bets are off. Just get your guys, pull them up, re-rank everything, change. I did my rookie rankings on the fly on the show, a couple episodes ago, and then do what you have to do, especially after the 12th round. I always say during Best Ball Mania season, ADP matters until a point. And for me, it's the 12th round. I won't stray too far from ADP, at least within 12 picks. There's a lot of data that backs it up. So within 1 round, within 12 picks of ADP, I don't like to mess around in the first, call it 12 rounds. After that, do whatever the hell you want. And if it's a guy, this is another thing that I said the other week, if it's a guy that you think gets drafted in Best Ball Mania season in the 18-round drafts, and he's going in the 19th and 20th round, take him in the 17th round. Just get him. Who cares? Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, Who Hames in the background. That's good. That's a good point. That's a good point. Honestly, all the streams have a lot of the same people, including me. I'm up in there too. You guys see me in there as well. I'm in the chats. Absolutely. So, there's still a thirst for it. That's for sure. It's never been bigger. Best ball's never been bigger, and it just keeps growing. So, yeah, I don't know if there is, too much, but we're bringing in Parker Washington. Let's get this Jacksonville double stack. I'm not doing the Gabe Davis thing again. I'm I'm just not doing it. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it again. I'm not ready to be hurt again by Gabe Davis. As a career backup at best. I'm not sold on the idea of a QB needing teams drafting QBs this year. Just get a cheap QB this year and look at drafting one next season. The QBs this year feel like they have Chase Daniels ceiling. Yeah. Career backup. Yeah. I don't know if you've taken a break from watching the show, Green Bean, but yeah, I've been dogging these quarterbacks since day one. I'll say it again. I've said it many, many times, and I'll say it again. And I'll show you my exposure to these rookie quarterbacks. No real point because it's 0% to all of them. I'm not drafting any of these rookie quarterbacks at all. I will not draft them. Definitely not in the big board. We'll see in Best Ball Mania season. We'll see where I know where they're playing. I'm not drafting any of them in the big board. Period. End of story. Not doing it. And I 100% agree. I don't think any of them. Why? Because I don't think any of them are ready to start. None of them. Not even Cam Ward. None of them are ready to start. I've been saying it all along. I will not change my tune. Not happening. None of them are ready to play in the NFL. None of them. Not even Cam Ward. None of them. Period. If I'm wrong, I'm ready to live with myself. Like, I really highly doubt that any, Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, Jackson Dart, I don't think any of them are even going to have a Caleb Williams type rookie season. You want to know how their rookie season's probably going to look? Right here. That's what you're looking forward to. I'm telling you. Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, that's what they're looking for. That's what's going to happen. I almost guarantee it. If I'm wrong, I'll eat this hat. Not literally, obviously, but you know what I mean. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, guys. It's fool's gold. It is fool's gold. You know who's not fool's gold? Kyle Williams. I'm going to draft as much as I could possibly get of Kyle Williams. You know that. I've been saying it for a few episodes now. Kyle Williams is the value right now. He's the value, in my opinion. But yeah, career backups at best. I think all of them. Like I've said many times, if you put a gun to my head and say I have to start one of these quarterbacks tomorrow in an NFL game, it's Will Howard. That's who I'm starting. I drafted Parker Washington a single time today. Shouts. Got to do it, man. You got it. I'm drafting Parker Washington for sure. I'm pulling him up. I'll be drafting him. QB situations are too shit not to get some. Yeah, but if they have 14 total touchdowns, what difference is that going to make to your best ball team? And if you're going to say it's the 1 week thing and it's week 17, they score 4 touchdowns, really? Like, that's what we're banking on? I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it, period. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm just not doing it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll be okay with myself. I'll be able to sleep at night if I'm wrong on that one. I don't think there's a point in taking another running back. I like my running back room. Bayshaw Tune's my 5th. I'm happy with that. My top 3 are awesome. I'm just going to bring in another wide receiver is what I got to do. I finally watched Kyle Williams. You're in. Yeah, man. Watch the tape. You want a shot in the arm? Don't have a coffee. Go watch some Kyle Williams tape. The dude's a beast. Big play threat. He can do a little bit of everything. He's very quality. Very quality. Go watch the tape. Yeah, I'm going to be drafting him. I'm going to be 30, 40% if he stays in the 19th round. And I'm drafting him in the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. Any of those picks, I will take Kyle Williams. I'm going to be up to like 40% in no time. To not be starters, at least Drake May style. Maybe. Did Drake May win anybody any money? And are any of these quarterbacks even close to Drake May? Not in my opinion. That's just my opinion. If you disagree, that's completely fine. Pick these guys, do your thing. I just completely disagree, and I will not draft any of them. I won't. I will not. If I need to change in the summer over Best Ball Mania season, if I need to, get some late stacks like Browns or whatever, which is gross. I don't like, I'm not drafting any Jerry Jeudy either, right? So yeah, if I need to change, I will. If I need to adjust, I will, but I'm not doing it in the big board. I haven't yet, and I'm not drafting a single one. Not a single share of any of these rookie quarterbacks. Was worried at first when like the first 9 receptions were screens, then the downfield stuff started. Yeah. Once you see that downfield stuff, and there's a lot of everything. He was running a lot. He's super experienced. He was in college for 5 years, played as a true freshman at UNLV. I'm very, very happy with what I saw on tape. Like complete route tree. He can do everything you need. And I think he's going in the 3rd round for sure. I really think he's going in the 3rd round, which is more than enough draft capital, especially with where he's going. Like typically he's there in the 20th round, if not 19th, 18th. If you got to pull him up to the 17th, which I do all the time, tell me a wide receiver that goes after him. Depends on who's gone. If Noel's there, I'm taking Noel. Noel. I wonder is it Noel or Noel? I've heard both. Jalen Noel. I think it's Jalen Noel, not Noel, but I could be wrong on that. Who are we taking for our final wide receiver click? I don't need to do Tez, that's for sure. I got more than enough, and I need to correct that. I don't need any more Ricky White. I'm happy with that. Nick Nash, I'm happy with that, but I do like him. I'm not doing the Tesla thing. I'm just not going to do that. No! Auto-drafted Okonkwo. That's annoying. That really kills this team a little bit. That hurts a lot. Noel, right? I was friggin' distracted with this Jalen Noel nonsense, and then I picked Chig Okonkwo as my 4th tight end. Chig Okonkwo better be what's needed to win friggin' the big board. That's annoying. That really hurts his team. This is not a very strong wide receiver room. Rookie move, man. Rookie move. Jeez. At worst, 4th is what people supposedly were hearing at Combine. Yeah. I mean, again, Daniel Jeremiah has been touting him a bunch quietly. Take Deontay Thornton Jr., no balls. I'm not doing the Deontay Thornton thing, or Dante, sorry. It's Dante Thornton. I'm not doing that. He just, big man run fast. I get it, but I'm not doing it personally. Good show. And I've already added the watch list. Also subscribe. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming out. Glad you like the content. There's a lot more usually. Like I show spreadsheets and whatnot, and I go through Gunol. Yeah, I like that. I go through a lot of stuff. I do things differently. My rankings are different than probably anyone else you've ever seen, I'd imagine. And it's not just because I want to be different. It's what I see. It's what I do. I watch the tape and everything like that. So yeah, appreciate you coming out. Hopefully if you watch some of the old stuff back, then you'll get a better look at it. I've been slamming the Thornton click last 2 days. Should be Kyle Williams, but 65 career college reception. I don't care when he averages 22 yards per catch. Yeah, I mean, if that's the guy you want, then give her, man. Go nuts. Let's go over the teams quick. I really killed my team a little bit. That really hurts my feelings. That's really stupid of me. I should have just had a bunch of wide receivers in my queue. That's really dumb. Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, and Trevor Lawrence are all double stacked, so I like that. Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, Kenny Walker, Isaiah Pacheco at pick 116. 20 picks past ADP, 21 actually. I'll take that. Bashal Tuden, I'm happy with that room. Makes tons of sense. I'm glad I stopped at 5, especially since I auto drafted a 4th tight end. Tyreek Hill, Roma Dunze, Juwan Jennings, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Jalen Noel, Parker Washington, Kyle Williams. I would like it a lot more if I had a 9th wide receiver. Likely Kmet, Strange, and Okonkwo. Definitely don't need Okonkwo. So that's annoying that I did that to myself, but that's how she goes. Let's check out Farachi's. We got Cam Ward, Matt Stafford, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers. I like taking 4 there. I think you have to. That makes sense. You got to just throw some volume at it. I like the way you did there. Kyron Williams, James Cook. Kyron Williams, obviously, with Matt Stafford, Charbonnet, Estime, and Judkins. That works for me, actually. That works for me. I'm okay with that. CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Chris Olave, paired up. Matthew Golden, Darnell Mooney, Keon Coleman with James Cook. That's fine. Jordan Whittington again with Matt Stafford, Jalen Royals, and Trey Tucker. You never know. Aaron Rodgers might end up on Vegas. I think that's what you're thinking. It's possible, I suppose, Cam Ward on Vegas, but not very likely. Dallas Goedert and Dalton Kincaid, obviously leaning into the team stack of the Buffalo Bills. I think you need another tight end, but where do you pull it from? So I guess you could have stopped. You could do without Trey Tucker, I guess, but I'm fine either way. I think you need a 3rd tight end though, but it's tough to do when you know you need 4 quarterbacks. So I get that. Let's take a look at the Candyman. Jane Daniels, CJ Stroud. I'm happy with that. That makes sense. That works to stop at 2. Ashton Genty, Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, Devin Neal, Jalen Wright, Austin Eckler, Antonio Gibson. That works for me. 2783. That works for me. Washington. Yeah, Eckler works. Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, Deebo Samuel paired up. Emeka Ibuka. Wow, nice value on Emeka, that's for sure. Adam Thielen at a discount. Jack Besh at a discount. Torrey Horton. People like Torrey Horton. I thought there's so many drags, man. Watch his tape, and he's just running across the field constantly. 2 yards upfield, running full tilt towards the sideline. It's interesting. I didn't love his tape. Lot of drags. What do we have for likes? We're at 16 likes. You got a couple minutes. We'll get to 20. I'll rip another draft. If not, we're going to call it a night. So hit that like button, and we'll do another one. If not, we're going to wrap it up. Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, Deebo Samuel. Yeah, I didn't love Torrey Horton's tape, if I'm being honest. Just so many drags. I'd like to see more of a route tree is what I'm getting at. TJ Hawkinson, Evan Ingram, and Dalton Schultz. Double stacked Houston. Deebo. I think it's possible Jack Besh ends up on Washington. Double stack, though, either way with Eckler. That works. Hawkinson, Ingram, Schultz. Ingram, we're closer to where he should be going. Definitely gotta fall ADP wise, that's for sure, before I even think about clicking him. And we'll see where he lands. We'll know shortly where he's gonna go. If you're in the chat and you have your team you drafted, let me know. We can go over it. Every winning team has 2 to 3 useless players in the end. No sweat. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nicer if I had another wide receiver, that's for sure, but that's all right. It shouldn't kill me. I just would much rather have another wide receiver there. On Discord, he's so tall and fast. No, yeah, exactly. Like Thornton, big man, run fast. I get it. Big playability, but if that's all you can do, I don't think that's going to be too conducive to having a quality rookie season, but we'll see. I like to get a lot of viewpoints. Yes, I will. Appreciate it. Yeah, take a look through. Like, the rankings are weird. No one is similar to my rankings. They're definitely different. They're definitely different. But let me know if you disagree and why. Not just, I disagree, you're stupid. I disagree, here's why. These are the reasons. There you go. Blah, blah, blah. And then we'll kind of take it from there. More than happy to have a conversation. That's for damn sure. And more than happy to admit if I'm wrong, or I'm always willing to say, like I always say, you got to leave room that you're completely wrong. Completely incorrect. And that's possible for me. It's possible for everyone. Some people are willing to admit it. Some people aren't. CD, AJ Brown, Olave is fire. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Olave, but I love him as a player. I just don't like the situation, obviously. Is Farachi supposed to be Farisi? Farisi? Yeah, it's Farachi, man. Pretty sure I nailed it, right? That's how you say it, right? I was deciding between third tight end and looking for a stack. Yeah, that's what I figured you were doing with the Aaron Rodgers thing, I'd imagine, right? You're thinking Aaron Rodgers can end up in Vegas, which isn't crazy. Like, that's definitely not crazy with Trey Tucker. And then that definitely means that obviously Devontae Adams is not going to be with the Raiders, right? So that keeps the door open for Trey Tucker being taken a step forward. So I don't mind that. Almost took Theo Johnson. I'm not a Theo Johnson guy. Come on, you'll drop a sub. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're not getting there. We're not getting there. Looks like on the likes, we're at 18, 16 likes. My like was 17 when I hit the button like an hour ago. Let's refresh it. Pretty sure we're at 18 likes. Let's take a look. I'm showing 17 likes. Probably go up to 18. Yeah, 18 likes. We're falling short, boys and girls, if you're in the chat. My apologies. But we're going to get out of here. It'll be a short one tonight. Usually we're like 2 hours. So short ones aren't so bad. My wife will be happy with that. But we'll be back probably tomorrow. Yeah, let's rip on tomorrow night. We'll be back tomorrow night, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Let's rip another one. Appreciate you, boys. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming in as always. But yeah, we'll rip on another one tomorrow and hit the subscribe button. We got a couple extra subscribers. We're almost there. We need about 50. Let's get it going. Let's do the 12-hour stream. Let's rip some drafts. Let's have some fun. Hopefully there's some stuff to talk about. The mock draft will be a fun one. We'll obviously talk about that sort of stuff. Free agency's coming up. We're going to have a huge, I'll definitely do a big stream there. And then we'll kind of take it from there. Maybe we'll get some guests rolling on, get the friends and family coming on. That'll be fun. But either way, tomorrow night we'll rip another one. We'll have some fun. So like we always say on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we're right, but that 4 tight end room might kill me. Either way, have yourselves a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.